AI tools like chatbots and virtual assistants are among the top trends how organizations improve service standards, according to NTUC LearningHub's latest report. But business leaders say budget constraint is the main hurdle, limiting investments in training, tools, and manpower. The report highlights several technology adoption patterns. Among those surveyed, 38% said they use AI-powered chatbots or virtual concierges. 36% have adopted self-service platforms, while 35% use customer relationship management systems with integrated data. Gaps and areas for improvement were also identified, with a digital focus emerging. In retail, 41% of respondents said mobile-first shopping experiences would enhance service excellence. Meanwhile, 45% highlighted the need for real-time appointment scheduling. NTUC LearningHub says tech enables scale, but success depends on pairing tools with skilled teams and service culture. And to share more on what employers are doing on the ground, we're joined by Shuo, who is CEO of the Singapore National Employers Federation. Shuo, good of you to join us. Now, the report earlier says that firms are trying to be more proactive and also AI-driven when it comes to customer service. Now, from what you're seeing across with employers, is this a shift that's already happening on the ground? And more importantly, is it happening fast enough?
Well, certainly, I think the shift is already happening. If you look at the services sector, for example, I think banking and retail sectors were mentioned in the LHub report. Really, in the banks, customers today, when they have simple queries, when they want to engage the service of the banks, a lot of the preliminary work, I would say, is done by AI-driven virtual assistants. And that really cut down on some of the work that the customer service officers have to handle so they can focus on a more complex task. Then the other shift, I suppose, in some way is when you actually go through the AI-driven assistants, there is a bit of anticipation of your possible queries. They can use past data to better serve the customers. And so it moves from a more reactive kind of customer service to something that's a bit more proactive. Then retail is about integration of your online, offline experience. So I think the employers are already doing that. Whether they're doing it fast enough, I think right now we are seeing the shift. It's a bit too early to say whether the pace of adoption of AI in helping to drive customer service experience, whether that's fast enough. But I think the shift is certainly happening.
Yeah, and speaking of that shift, with just over a quarter of the firms investing in training, and then we also have another quarter that's not planning to, do you think employers are underestimating the urgency of reskilling when it comes to the AI-driven economy? And what is the danger of that?
I wouldn't draw the conclusion so quickly to say that employers are not doing it. If we see the recent report, I think released by MOM, it does say that the training participation rate of the resident labor force has improved significantly from last year. It has been on a decline from, I think, 2022 all the way to 2024, but last year has been a sharp jump. So that shows, I think, both employees and employers are really investing in training. In some sense, this could be driven by a certain sense that AI is coming, so employers may feel the need to press on with the training for the employees, and of course with things like job redesign so that employees can really do higher value added jobs when they are better trained. So I think there's greater investment in training. Of course, a quarter of the employers saying that they might not invest in customer service training. I think that could be reflective of whoever has been surveyed. And these employers, even though they say that they might not want to invest in customer-related kind of training, they could be investing in training in other areas. So I wouldn't rule out that the employers are doing enough in terms of AI upskilling for their workers.
And among the employers that say they are not intending to invest in AI training, budget constraints were cited as the top barrier when it comes to improving service excellence. So in today's climate, what do you think it will take for companies to prioritize customer experience despite all these growing cost pressures?
Well, I think different sectors and employers within the same sector are probably responding differently. I would say cost pressure has been something that's quite consistent in terms of feedback from employers. When they send employees for training, there's of course the training cost. Usually that receive some subsidy from the government. But there is also a concern that, when employees go for training, especially if it's offsite, there needs to be covering arrangements, so it affects operations. Then in terms of the longer term returns from training, some employers may not see that immediate return. And therefore, I think when they think about the investment in training, they may be a bit hesitant, looking at both the budget, the impact on operations, and the potential long-term returns. But I think a lot of employers are nevertheless actually investing in training because they see the impact of training in terms of improving productivity, innovation, and really engagement at the workforce. So if employers are investing in training, I think they have an edge in terms of talent, attraction, retention, and in the space of customer service. If they can really level up the game, I think that will help them to retain customers and really is something that's good for businesses. So I think we are seeing employers investing, but cost pressure, like you said, is something on many employers' mind. So I think we just have to let the companies that really have the space and resources to invest in training to move ahead fast. And some of the other employers need to reweigh, I think, balance that short-term cost in terms of training versus a long-term gain. And this is really a business decision employers have to make.
Yeah, and speaking from the employer's perspective, industry recognized certifications are really important, but also how they're applied. That's very crucial as well. What more needs to be done to ensure that all these credentials on paper then translate into very consistent, high service standards across all the sectors?
Well, industry recognized certification, I think, is important to all employers because they can be assured that the employees have the necessary skills to do the job. But what more could be done is probably at a sector level. There can be common standards, as said. Perhaps the various trade association and chambers can do something with the employers or businesses in a sector, such that within the sector, there's well-recognized certification, standard certification framework. Then across sectors, of course, it's even better if employers can start recognizing accreditation or certification across sectors, because that will help to improve labor mobility. If employees unfortunately lose their job or choose to move to a different sector, a common certification framework of skills will allow them to move across sectors and allow employers to effectively evaluate whether these workers have the necessary skills to move across sectors. But again, I think it's something that really within sectors, within certain industries, they have to work it out. And there is a recognition that with the half-life of skills becoming shorter, some of these certification frameworks or completed body of competencies do need to be reviewed regularly to ensure that they are fit for purpose.
Shuo, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. That was Shuo, who is the CEO of SNEF.